punishment as well. Probably not a good idea for Niagu to be closing out that aggressively, that high.
Right.
Don't want to pick up those.
Don't need those fouls. It'll be his first as Cranford comes to the line and cans that one. So a 4-point play for Juan Cranford.
Yeah, Eli, and this 6-point run by the Colonels is fueled by basically the offensive glass. Not to sound like a broken record, but they got 3 trips in a row where they only got 1 shot. Then you turn around and 3 trips in a row where they got more than 1 shot.
Exactly, and there the ball goes out of bounds with bodies again sprawling in every direction. Foul on Evans Paul. It'll be his second at the line. The Gamecocks. Marcus Fitzgerald.
Nice job by Fitzgerald being aggressive, coming off the bench, coming right into the game. Effective from the 3-point line and knocking down a couple of free throws. That's going to bring him off the floor, and Jay Nash, the starter, back in there.
Here's now the inbounds by the Colonels. Defense by Nash picked up. 8 minutes remaining in the half. A 3-point Colonels advantage. The dish, bump, count it, and a foul is at the line. "16 points twice already this year, to go with 14 rebounds. And a 22-16 lead. On a Bitarte inside, and the turnaround try doesn't go for Erkins Ford. And here come the Colonels.
Nice switch up there by Coach Hamilton out of the timeout. They drop back into a zone. Gamecocks got a good look, though, just couldn't get it to fall.
Trying to drive baseline. 1 try, 2 tries, and it won't go off the high end of the glass. Myrick tried to carom it in. Now Mustafa with the bounce towards Ana Bitarte. And it's out of bounds off Jack State. Well, no, they're going to say it went out of bounds off Eastern. So the Gamecocks inbound it with 23 on the shot clock. Mustafa, no good. After getting started hot on 3-point shooting this season, he has somewhat reverted back to where he was last year, where he got no 3-point shots to fall. And there's an air ball with the ball going out of bounds to Jack State.
Yeah, when it comes to Mustafa and his 3-point shot, teams are going to sag off of him. They know what he can do when he can put the ball on the floor, and teams are going to give him the opportunity to make a 3, that's for sure.
And there's a traveling call brought up by Juan Cranford's tight defense on Jay Nash. Another turnover on the Gamecocks. It'll be their 5th to 3 for Eastern. And the inbounds to Ball. MJ Williams now off a screen. And it's stolen by Mustafa. And that was an unnecessary reach in. They're not going to call it an intentional foul on Myrick, but they well could have.
Here, nice job there by Mustafa, just anticipating the pass as MJ Williams lobbed that pass. Mustafa picks it off and takes it the distance.
Yeah, it could well have been intentional, but they chose not to call it that way, and Mo hits the free throw. Here's Buttry. Turner Buttry. He's from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Went to Bowling Green High School, and there's a running shot off the window for Cranford. 5-point lead for Eastern Kentucky. They have led by as many as 7. Bryant to Mustafa. And there's a reach in and the foul. It's going to be the second foul on Montavious Myrick. The coaches picked him the ASUN preseason defensive player of the year. And of course, added him to the preseason all-conference team. Anabatarte gets fouled by Cranford. So Aitor absorbing that hit and goes to the line for 2.
Great look on the inbound by Nash, and Anabatarte with a good pump fake threw the defender in the air.
He's 11 of 12 from the stripe this year, Anabatarte is. Now substitutions for the Colonels as A.W. Hamilton, a 2005 graduate of Marshall University, shifts his roster. And Anabatarte with the freebie. 24-20 with just under 6 minutes remaining. Off the miss. Here comes Mustafa. He traveled. They didn't call it. He spins and gets hit. And there's going to be a call right there. It'll be Asa White picking up his first personal foul. The junior who transferred in from Johnson C. Smith University. And Mustafa at the line, shooting a pair. And he has another one coming. Mustafa averaging 18.9 points a game coming in, near the top of Conference USA. Across the line, Buttry. Can't get around the defense, and he embellishes just a bit, but draws the foul. It'll be the second on Nash.
Nash a little too physical that time out on the perimeter guarding Buttry. Now he's going to have to sit with the 2 fouls.
Here's White leaving it off for Buttry. White setting screens. And there's a stepping out of bounds on a spin move by Jackson Holt. Holt, who has been a 3-time member of the Atlantic Sun Academic Honor Roll, spun nicely but stepped out of bounds in the process.
Yeah, Jamar Franklin did a good job on the baseline, didn't give an inch there, forced Holt to step out of bounds.
And Mustafa has the ball knocked out of his hands as he goes coast to coast. That's going to be Asa White's second personal foul in the last moment or so. And Mustafa to shoot a pair.
Yeah, he seems to be getting really comfortable in this game right now. He's been to the line now several times here in the first half. Coach Hamilton obviously not happy with the last 2 calls against his team defending Mustafa. They could have gone either way, but nice job being aggressive on the offensive end.
He's 6 of 7 now from the charity stripe, and that ties us up at 24. Gamecocks have led by 1. Eastern Kentucky has led by 7. Buttrey, Cranford. Everybody's tied up in a package. Outside for 3. Air ball. That one would have made Nate Bowman proud. Remember him? Old number 17 for the New York Knicks. Boy, he had some of the most inventive air balls ever thrown up at Madison Square Garden. Here now, the action into the forecourt. Mustafa just off the mark. And there's a foul on the Gamecocks as they went for the rebound inside.
Coach Harper telling Mustafa, take the ball to the basket. Basically what he's saying to him, even though they're laying off of you, they're daring you to shoot that 3. Don't bite. Yep. Go ahead and drive hard downhill because you've been getting to the line. Why stop what's been working?
Jacoby Hill with that personal, his first. Hill, who came to Jack State and watches the shot go right over top of him. Here's Franklin now. Jamar had 15 points and 8 rebounds in the game the other day at Georgia State. He drives in, underhand finger roll. He gets hit as he goes. How many of those have we seen tonight? 5 or 6, which is just unusual.
And that was, believe it or not, the first 3-point attempt for A.C. Bryant, the Gamecocks' top 3-point shooters. He goes out of the game now. Eastern Kentucky has done a good job defending him out at the 3-point line and limiting his opportunities.
Yeah, he's 27 of 74 from 3-point land coming into the ball game, and today 0 of 1. Great observation, Mickey. And here's a long-range shot, but it's whistled dead. And standing out of bounds was Jackson Holt as he took the shot, and it's turned over.
Gamecocks need to be a little careful here. Obviously, there's plenty of time left in this game, but this is a 10-point deficit. They're kind of mired in a funk here on the offensive end. They need some type of spark here in the half court.
Mustafa. And the fall away Jay for Jay Nash. Jay Nash, the Tulsa transfer. And here's timeout. Greenville in Florida. Lipscomb, Central Arkansas, Stetson, Bellarmine, North Florida, and West Georgia. That is the A-Sun Conference. And a floater to the basket is short, but it's a foul. So the whistle. It'll be the second on Marcus Fitzgerald. To the line is Turner Buttrey. He's an 89% free throw shooter. 40 of 45 now on the year for Buttrey. And another, and you're right, they haven't had a field goal in 3 minutes and 9 seconds, Mickey, yet they're hanging right in there with their lead of 10 points.
Yeah, and it's, you know, Eastern Kentucky is, you've got to tip your hat to them as well, what they've been able to get done on the defensive end, the way they have played the Gamecocks and forced JSU to shoot a lot of outside shots, and the Gamecocks just not knocking them down tonight.
Buttrey Gamecock shooting only 39% from the floor, 17% from three-point land. Myrick gets tripped up, no call. Loose ball taken. Mustafa into the paint. He's jammed, and it's going the other way. Here's MJ Williams up the floor. He'll feed left side. Got it for three. Count it for Jackson Holt. The junior from Cincinnati gives the Colonels their largest lead of the night at 13.
And that play was really ignited by the block from Asa White. Great hustle by White. It looked like Mustafa had a clean path to the basket, and White erased the shot.
Fitzgerald. Shot clock at 6. Mustafa missing it in close. Follow-up is good for 2. Jacoby Hill got a hold of the basketball and puts it up. But for Jacoby, that's only 2 points on the night. A guy who's averaging 7 and has scored 13 and 12 in 2 games already this year. Only 2 points here this evening. Baseline shot forced up. Doesn't go for Myrick. And here comes Nash. Nash hustles through, trying to split the defense, and he draws a career coaching record in 27 years of 604 wins and 258 losses. And the wins came off shots like that.
That was a big play there for Jack State, finding Fitzgerald open for the 3.
Ball goes out of bounds. Which way? It's going to be Jack State giving it up, as they were on the out of bounds line when they touched the basketball.
Gamecocks using a little bit of throwing a little bit of the Colonel's medicine back at them here, trying to create a little chaos themselves here to create some positive energy here in this second half.
An 8-point lead. It's been as many as 13 for Eastern Kentucky. They are in the black with the maroon and white. Gamecocks in the white with the red. Cranford. Jacoby Hill watching, and it's thrown away. Turnover against Eastern. It's going to be the 11th turnover for Eastern Kentucky. Those are starting to mount up now.
And that turnover was created by the defensive freshman Jacoby Hill. He was right up against Cranford. Good physical defense without fouling. Moved his feet very well and forced the turnover.
Ball will be coming back in. That's Austin Ball will be coming back in for Eastern in a moment. And there, Mustafa has the shot swatted away. Big time move inside by Montavious Myrick. Jackson Holt takes a seat now. And here's Anabatarte feeding the right side out to Mustafa. Spin move. Shot clock expires as the shot was flying through the air, and here comes Ball. Buttry to Ball again. The George Mason transfer. He was a 4-star recruit, according to Rivals magazine. We're speaking of 14. Ball. 5 on the shot clock. 3, 2, Ball shoots it in and out, no good. Rebound, Eastern Kentucky.
This is a small lineup for Jack State that they haven't used a lot tonight, but they came out of the timeout with this small lineup on the floor, and Eastern Kentucky takes advantage with an offensive rebound.
27-22, Eastern out rebounding Jack State. A 3-point try, no, and again a rebound for Eastern. Long range tray try, count it for 3. And they're going to put back the tall guys. Jacks will at the next opportunity as Niago and Erkins Ford will check in. But the smaller lineup has really hurt as the rebounds have gone in favor of the Colonels.
Yeah, nice job there by Eastern Kentucky, recognizing what was on the floor. They got real aggressive on the glass and created some opportunities on the offensive end. Again, the second chance points been a big part of this game.
The foul on Austin Ball will be his third. And Jay Nash is at the line. He has just 2 points tonight. And now 3, which every point now helps the Gamecocks.
Gamecocks will use a timeout here to set something.
Mustafa to inbound it, gives it to Hill, who doesn't touch it. Now he does. The clock starts. Hill into the forecourt. Long range. No, that's it. Rebound into the